Welcome to episode 2 of Sippin Sports. We are here for kind of an internal conversation actually today with the Epic Sports Park themselves. Cole Walker is here. He is one of the managers of the Epic Sports Park, and we have worked quite a lot together, even Absolutely. My time at the CVB. I actually used to work for Provo Parks and Recreation that owns and operates the Epic Sports Park. So I'll let you introduce yourself and just kind of
Absolutely
lead the way.
Yeah, so Cole Walker, I'm with Provo Parks and Recreation. I am the official title, I guess, is the Assistant Sports Park Manager at the Epic Sports Park. And what that role looks like on a day-to-day is I'm the operations guy. So I get to help these tournaments come and have a fantastic experience and make sure that what they expected was going to happen is actually what happens in the end. My background is all over the place a little bit. Way back in the school years is through art, and got into landscape design and kind of just continued down that path.
Yeah, which is kind of fitting. I know on another podcast that Cole and I had the privilege of being on, we actually kind of talked about how it actually works, because a lot of the time people look at pictures of the Epic and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful and looks like a piece of art. And so I can give kudos to Cole. Him and his team definitely make it look like a masterpiece. So we want to keep it that way.
Yes, that's the goal. Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
As a city organization, there's a lot of hats, and so I also get to be a social media guy. So the art comes in handy there too when it comes to making videos and taking
that's
photographs.
cool. And so that kind of segues into we didn't originally have a social media profile or anything like that, and that's kind of stuff we've learned along the way as far as helping market and showcase to the local community, as well as just the tourism groups, what we've got going on with development at the park, as well as just what's going on day to day at the park, which I know when I previously started this position, there was a lot up in the air as far as when I switched over to this position, there wasn't even a manager of the sports park yet. It's kind of been a learning experience for everybody, and I can say a lot about how it's been on my end of things, but I'm curious to hear kind of what the past year specifically has looked like, because even before you accepted this position, you were still
very involved.
Yeah. So how did that look like? How have things changed? How have things developed to the grand opening per se?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got involved very early on because it was something that was interesting to me, and I wanted to make sure that if we had this massive, ambitious park, that we were going to do everything possible to make sure that it was successful. Yeah. And so for me, that looked like is extra hours spent reviewing irrigation plans and making sure that construction plans were where I felt like they needed to be. Kind of treated it like, well, if this was my baby, how would I want it to run? And so I'm very grateful on the back end that I'm actually involved. Because I think I'd be crying if I wasn't. But yeah, so construction, getting us through to, I didn't actually get involved in the project until very late in construction. We were probably only a couple months away from opening day by the time that I officially got hired in this role. And, at that point, you're just really all hands on deck, buttoning everything up, making sure that all of your checklist items are finished and that your kickoff event goes great. And then wasn't a week after that we had a week or two after that we had our first major tournaments, and our first major tournaments being some of the greatest that I could think of working with as being a first time running something full 15 field tournament like we did.
We'll do a plug to Elite Tournaments. Andrew, Ellie, your whole team is great. We can definitely say that now.
We
love you. I was able to see all of that, like up to the day before the grand opening even. Like, I'll throw a picture maybe of it, but I called Cole saying, hey, just seeing how things are going with the grand opening. What do you need from us as far as like the day-to-day events? And Cole just said, we're still out here painting. So, or wanted to make sure everything is perfect and pristine, so we came out there and fed your team with some canes and stuff, and it was a good time. So
it was.
The relationship, honestly, is just, I couldn't ask for a better team to be holding down the fort there. But kind of going to talk Elite, with some of the best in the business to be able to work with, we learned a lot about amenities, services, and I think that that's kind of what put us in a great spot because of the transparency and openness that we had with them up front, being like, what do you need? Tell us what you want. And that's very rare in the sports market world at sports facilities because most places you're already locked in. This is our policies, these are stuff. So I think that was what was so attractive in the beginning, especially, and even now, still today, like when we meet with clients, because every single call with clients, it's always like all of us together, which is unique and fun. But I think that's been one of the best things is seeing how tell us what you need and we'll make it work kind of a mentality. And that's so unique and I love that so much. So very grateful for you guys and for your openness there. Walk me through what you have seen as a value kind of working with us as a CVB, because it's kind of different and unique because, Cole and I go way back to when I was managing the sports leagues for just our local rec leagues, and it was very different, not sitting in comfy chairs and sipping on some swig. No. It was actually us scheduling games and you telling me, no, you can't play on my fields right now because I'm trying to fertilize them.
Actively, yes.
Actively, yeah. And now it's kind of cool. Yeah, we're going to maintain the fields so they look well. And I think that that's kind of helped my background knowing like, okay, we don't want to overdo it on the fields. We want to make sure they get the rest that they need to give quality fields to these clients. But also on the other side of things, now you definitely are operating saying, cool, how can we make this the best experience that we can for our clients? So it's been kind of cool to see both sides of things there.
Absolutely. And I feel like in a way, maybe I'm a bit spoiled because I don't have the perspective of having been in this kind of a role in other cities with other counties and tourism bureaus and those kinds of things. This is really my first experience in this arena. But I'll say that I think from our side, what I've seen as being a massive benefit for us internally, as well as for outside stakeholders or anybody looking to contract at the Epic, is really just simplifying that whole procedure. And getting rid of a lot of the BS or the random stuff, the hoops that people feel like they have to jump through in order to get answers to critical questions for them to be happy with their event. The number of times that we can be on a call with somebody and you're quietly waiting in the wing and we're doing a Zoom meeting or something like that and we'll be asking questions and I'll be getting their feedback about what kinds of amenities and things like that we can offer them. And then, of course, the conversation will eventually transition to, well, we need to figure out hotels. And please tell me that in, small little Provo, which it's not small, but, they don't know. And so they're wondering, do you have anything available? Do you guys even have a tourism bureau? Do you have the ability to help us out with some hotels? And all of a sudden, Abby's like, I'm right here. You're already on the call with me. I'm already taking notes. Right? And I think that is a value that honestly you can't put a dollar to. These groups don't have time to send off a billion emails. They're already that stacked, right? Yeah. And so if they can talk to Provo Parks and Recreation and contract, and at the same time all the information doesn't have to be regurgitated 3 times more to 3 different groups. Yeah. They've got it all where they need it and we can move forward. Yeah.
Well, and vice versa too, right? Like we'll have the groups that normally only talk to CVBs and expect the CVBs to work with the Parks and Rec people, right? Yeah. And for me to just be like, oh, I can't even remember who it was, but somebody was saying, oh, is it possible for you to get me in contact with the Parks and Rec? And I'm like, I've got a group text with them right now. Let me just shoot them a text real quick and I can get you an answer in the next, 20 minutes, if that. Usually one of you guys always respond, and that, like you said, is invaluable and very rare. And I know for a fact that a lot of the organizations that kind of oversee all of the sports tourism market are asking those questions. What's the secret sauce to get Parks and Rec and sports tourism visitors bureaus to mesh together? Yeah. And kind of what people focus on so much on the events rights holders client side of things is, oh, we need the relationship to do well. It's the same on the other side. Yes. Like if you want your rights holders to have a good event, then you need to have good relationships and experiences with your venues and facilities, and it's the exact same. luckily, and I won't necessarily it's luck because it's 5 years of Parks and Rec experience before switching to this position, that relationship already existed. And if anything, I feel like it's just grown even more to show, okay, despite the history of whatever, has happened in the past, we're a team and we're a unit that is a force to be reckoned with. And working together, we're going to create the most success, which is evident with what we saw with Elite and evident with the multiple events that, are quietly coming up on the books. And we're going to have press releases hopefully soon for a lot of those. And it's so exciting. And honestly, I'm stoked. And this is 75 degrees weather is outside in Utah right now. We're all
warming up.
We're feeling the reopening of the Epic Sports Park here soon. And it sounds like we're going to be working a lot with local communities for easing back into it, giving the community some love to try out this beautiful field, because that is an interesting balance as well as just kind of figuring out the community love. So grateful that we were able to do that as well with them, but also give the tourism side some love, because
absolutely,
it's hard to fill a facility as big as it. How big is it again?
It is, the grass is 1.5 million square feet, right? So it's 15 soccer fields, full size. When we say soccer fields, they're flat fields. They're usable for any number of flat, natural grass sports.
Okay.
But yeah, going back to what you said, I think the coolest thing for me is that just that constant realization and reiterating on both ends that we are a team, right? And we work together and we will succeed together. And if one half gets, too egocentric and isn't able to work with the other half, well, then we're both going to suffer. And I think that we are keenly aware of that and very excited to kind of just keep it going. Keep going.
I actually wanted to kind of end with this just because we have officially solidified details for it, but we actually, speaking of work together to create a fam trip, hopefully most people that are listening are familiar with that, where the Epic Sports Park and us team up to host whatever rights holders are interested in the Epic Sports Park to come out. It's going to be September 16th through the 18th, officially announcing on the LinkedIn, social media, YouTube, Spotify, all of the things. So if you're interested, feel free to DM me or place a comment on this post or fill out the interest form that will also be attached here. So we're excited to host you. If you want to meet Cole, he's a character. I've worked with him for years. We've kept it low-key. You didn't even sip your swig even once.
No, I didn't. Here we go.
Are we going to chug Utah County style with
I hope you got that on the microphone. Swig.
All right, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We will catch you on the next episode. Bye.